articulated in OECD guidelines on corporate governance of state-owned enterprises of 2015, which urge governments to act as informed and active owners, ensuring that enterprises operate efficiently, transparently, and in the public interest. It institutionalizes performance-based governance where boards and management are evaluated on clear and measurable targets, echoing one of my friends from Malaysia that we keep quoting, and South Africa have implemented similar reforms with great success. This has transformed their state enterprises into models of profitability and accountability. Honorable Speaker, I tried to find out, are there research, are there management and economic theories that support this particular action, Honorable Speaker? And this brought me to three very relevant theories, very well economic and management theories. The principal agency theory that recognizes that separating ownership, and that is the state as the owner, from management, and these are enterprise leadership, demands that we have clear oversight mechanism to prevent inefficiency and self-interest. Most importantly, most recently is a theory called the new public management that emphasizes professionalism, performance contracting, and private sector efficiency in public service delivery. And of course, the old stewardship theory that calls for board and management to act as custodians of public value, not merely as controllers of public assets. These frameworks, Honorable Speaker, underpin that the bill's performance, contracting, transparency, and incentive systems, creating a culture of results and accountability. Honorable Speaker, good governance is the lifeblood of public enterprise performance. It reminds us that management is about coping with complexity, while leadership is about coping with change. The bill emphasizes that the government-owned enterprises must have both management systems that ensure compliance and leadership that drives innovation and public value. This proves it provides for independent boards, professional diversity, gender balance, and mandatory audit committees, and these measures will strengthen international integrity and build public trust. Honorable Speaker, one of the amendments that the committee will be proposing, and this actually came very strongly from public participation, especially from members of my institute, ISPAC, has been the need to have professional and independent boards. And one of the ways we're making sure that the boards for the particular enterprises are professional and independent is by having a private sector-led independent professional vetting agency. That, Honorable Speaker, and it's important that politicians listen to this. Most of our boards, most of these parastatals or the entities are led by politicians. And although I've always held the point that being a politician does not make you stupid, and you still have the professional and experience we need, however, there has been demonstrated that whereas there are these political appointments of politicians and former politicians to these particular executive roles of these particular entities, it leads to that protectionalism. And this has led mostly to the collapse, rent-seeking of these particular entities, Honorable Speaker. So this now will ensure that there is no political interference, particularly in the Board of Management, Honorable Speaker. For too long, Honorable Speaker, the performance of public enterprises has been compromised when the leadership is determined by politics rather than professionalism. It's about which political inclination you align to and not which profession you belong when it comes to appointment to this particular government-owned enterprise, Honorable Speaker. So therefore, this bill is introducing, as I said, an independent selection panel for appointed directors, and that ensures that there is merit, integrity, and competence, and not connections that will guide appointments. This approach, Honorable Speaker, is very consistent with the OECD guidelines on corporate governance and on SOEs, which caution that states should allow SOEs to full operational autonomy to achieve their objectives and refrain from interfering in day-to-day management. Honorable Speaker, this also aligns with World Bank's principles of corporate governance that ensure that states should act as an informed, not an intrusive owner. From a theoretical perspective, Mr. Speaker, agency theory again warns us that maligned incentives between political principles and enterprise managers lead to inefficiency, rent-seeking, and loss of public trust. By professionalizing appointments and performance evaluations, this bill remains the risk and safeguard public interest, Honorable Speaker. We shall make sure that the state will remain a strategic owner. Again, the state shall remain a strategic owner, but not an operator, not a referee, and not a player, Honorable Speaker. What would be the impact of this on citizens, Honorable Speaker? When these entities perform, citizens benefit. Electricity become affordable. Water will flow reliably into our homestead, and infrastructure projects will be delivered on time and for value and within the budget, Honorable Speaker. Out of the 250 state corporations, only a handful consistently generate returns to the exchequer, while many actually depend on budgetary support. This bill is seeking to reverse this imbalance by transforming government-owned enterprises from physical customers, from customers of our exchequer to physical contributors. So from physical customers of our exchequer to physical customers, to physical contributors into our exchequer, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the spirit also transcends institutional reform. It speaks directly to the soul of fiscal discipline and the heart of responsible debt management. For too long, inefficiencies in our public enterprises have quietly translated into hidden fiscal risks, liabilities that end up in our national debt register. This bill is confronting this challenge head-on and demanding that there be transparency, efficiency, and accountability in every shilling managed under public ownership. By aligning, Honorable Speaker, these entities with international standards, we shift from reactive bailouts to productive management, from reactive bailouts to proactive management, from fiscal leakage to fiscal prudence, Honorable Speaker. We cannot continue in this budget cycle, Honorable Speaker, in every budget cycle, allocating resources to already leaking coffers, Honorable Speaker. Already entities that are supposed to be commercially viable, yet every year here we allocate resources to these particular entities, knowing very well that they're not going to ever be economically viable. That money that is invested in these entities is money that should go to fund our education, to fund our healthcare, to fund our infrastructure, Honorable Speaker, and not to go to inefficiencies that are clearly planned, procured, budgeted, and extracted for. This bill will bring an end to that, Honorable Speaker. This House, Honorable Speaker, has therefore the solemn duty to secure Kenya's financial future. This passage is not is not merely legislative housekeeping. It is a declaration of intent that we, as the representatives of the people, we choose prudence over populism, performance over patronage, discipline over debt dependency. And as management scholar Jim Collins wrote in the book Good to Great, greatness is not a function of circumstance. Greatness is largely a matter of conscious choice and discipline. So through this bill, we choose that discipline in policy, in governance, and public finance. The bill is is our covenant with the taxpayer that never again shall inefficiency be rewarded, nor public resources squandered in silence. Let this House, Honorable Speaker, raise to the occasion and secure Kenyans' sovereignty for the generations to come. With those many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I beg to second.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that the Government-Owned Enterprises Bill, National Assembly Bill number 40 of 2025, be now read a second time. For Yatta.
Thank you, Speaker. Allow me to. Yes. Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Allow me to rise to support the bill, that is the government-owned enterprise bill number 40 of 2025. Mr. Speaker, I have a number of reasons which I think are very critical and which support or back my argument to support this particular bill, Mr. Speaker. Point number one, Mr. Speaker, the bill will improve governance and professionalism, Mr. Speaker. Through the bill, we'll have merit-based selection of chairs and board members, Mr. Speaker, which in principle will actually eliminate conflict of interest, Mr. Speaker, because when chairpersons and board members, that is, board members are given the room to elect or to select their chairpersons, in reality that brings or fosters more accountability and actually reduces issues to do with conflict of interest and poor governance, which we have witnessed over the years, Mr. Speaker. Another reason which I find very salient, Mr. Speaker, and which justifies why I support this particular bill is because it's going to increase efficiency and financial sustainability, Mr. Speaker. Government-owned enterprise through this particular bill will be profit-oriented, Mr. Speaker, and will be able to self-finance their own activities, Mr. Speaker. And this is going to reduce the fiscal burden on the national budget, Mr. Speaker, which we have witnessed over the years, Mr. Speaker, and which is also contributing to heavy burden on taxpayers, Mr. Speaker. So this bill will actually contribute to increased efficiency and financial sustainability, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, allow me to say that through the bill, transparency and strengthened oversight will be realized or actualized through the bill, Mr. Speaker. And the reason why I say that, the bill proposes the creation of an oversight body, Mr. Speaker, which strengthens the role of the Treasury, Mr. Speaker, and eventually contributes to enhance transparency and strengthen oversight. Mr. Speaker, through the bill, government will be able to get financial records, which in principle will give more room for auditing of performance of state-owned enterprise, Mr. Speaker. And that is why I'm saying through that we'll be able to realize enhanced oversight and be able to foster accountability and value of money, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the bill does propose the proper use of public assets and improved service delivery, Mr. Speaker. We know for sure other countries around us are doing quite well. I was in Ethiopia just the other day, and I was shocked, Mr. Speaker, to see how Addis is moving very fast when it comes to growth. If you look at the streets of Addis Ababa today, they are well lit, well organized, well planned. Even the airport, it has reached the level of international airports, Mr. Speaker, the likes of Dubai, Singapore, and others, where you actually admire to have a similar level of growth in terms of improved airports, like what would you want to have. But when you come to Kenya, we are still lagging behind, Mr. Speaker, and it is important to put aside politics and do what is good for the current and future generations, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, through the bill, state-owned enterprise will meaningfully contribute to the economic growth of this country, Mr. Speaker, and be able to have improved or enhanced GDP, Mr. Speaker, and put Kenya at the path of economic progression and the lead on economic growth within the region, Mr. Speaker, and enable us to enjoy the glory we have enjoyed as the East Africa economic powers, Mr. Speaker. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, this bill encourages strategic focus and alliance within the private sector, Mr. Speaker, and this is realized when state-owned enterprise become more commercially viable, which eventually contributes to a favorable environment, Mr. Speaker, for private sector partnership, and which is a serious ingredient and a recipe for economic growth when it comes to having private sector meaningfully engaged or meaningfully involved in the growth of the economy, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, in a nutshell, to summarize my only summary, Mr. Speaker, this particular bill provides a legal framework, Mr. Speaker, to promote better performance of state-owned enterprise, and that's why I strongly and vehemently support the bill, Mr. Speaker. With those few remarks, I rest and I support the bill. Thank you.
MP for Karachuonyo, Honorable Andrew Adipo Kwome, will be followed by Honorable David Mbui, then Honorable Dr. Wilberforce Oundo, in that order. Proceed, Honorable Andrew Kwome Adipo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to touch on this important bill. And I want to start by saying that I do support the bill. I support it with varying reasons, one of which is that government-owned enterprises, to a large extent, have inherent problem in management of those enterprises. A lot of corruption is going on, and in fact, it is almost a practice that if you are appointed in a key position within the enterprise, the one thing people know is that you have been given an opportunity to loot. And as you loot, the country is going down the drain. Development is affected, employment is affected, and so many things go wrong with that kind of system of corruption. If these enterprises are privatized, we will automatically create efficiency within those companies. Because when they are owned by private people, their major objective will be making wealth. They want to make profit. And as they make profit, they encourage and indeed they develop the nation. They will be paying taxes to the government through that profit, and therefore, with the tax they pay, our income tax authority will be getting enough money and putting it in the government hands for development purposes. I feel the privatization of those owned enterprises is key and very much fundamental in the development of our nation. I'm in the Finance Committee and went out for public participation. In fact, people are happy with it. The one other reason they are happy with is that this privatization would put this company in the hands of the public. The public will feel ownership of the properties of their nation. They will feel they belong to the nation. They belong to the nation because the key production factors are in their hands. We will be doing a lot of advantage to the nation if we do this. Again, when these things end in the private hands, there will be accountability. Accountability is the mother of productivity. It creates confidence, and the country will feel they have done what can be very much useful to the people of Kenya. I support this bill. It is a bill that should be supported by everyone for the good that we see it contains in itself. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to mention these issues in relation to the bill. Thank you.
The Honorable David Mboni, MP for Kitui Rural.
Boy is Robert. No, boy is Robert. I'm David.
Is Honorable David Mboni.
Yes. Thank you very much.
He's a very serious member of the Finance Committee, which is transacting this bill.
Now they should listen to what I'm saying. Now, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Speaker, let me also say that I support this bill. Speaker, there are over 200 state corporations in this country. And these corporations, they are divided into two. There is commercial state corporations, which were created to make profit and bridge gaps where private sector could not be able to to reach. And this also the social enterprises. This bill only speaks to around 66 commercial enterprises. Does not speak about another. If you look at the annex, it speaks around 66 commercial enterprises which were created to make profit and bridge the gap where government could not, where private sector could not do. But after 1992, after the liberalization of the economy, some of them became irrelevant. Mr. Speaker, we have a corporation called Kenya National Trading Corporation, which was supposed to, which had shops in most of the big towns, and they were selling sugar, building materials, and those kind of things. But now, they are not in business. And I'll tell you, up to now, the government is still funding this state corporation, which is not doing